Hey everybody, it's Monday night. It's another episode of Always Bookin Comedy. We got Jay Donaldson, who I believe lives in Denver, or maybe a suburb of Denver. Is Denver?
Suburb, but yeah, Denver's fine.
Okay, all right. We're calling him Denver. Denver, Colorado's Jay Donaldson with us tonight. We were just chatting about, I'm a little overdressed. I just came from a corporate. And Jay was like, well, I'm wearing a collared shirt too. And so look at us, looking real
We
classy
did it.
for our
Yeah.
audience. Thank you.
School picture day. We're ready.
Yeah, exactly. So what's going on, man? What's happening in the world of comedy for Jay?
Um, Man, where to start? Busy August. Had 11 bookings for August,
Wow.
which isn't. I think for some comics that's like nothing. But I mean, these are actual gigs, paid gigs or production gigs that I'm doing, or whatever. So happy to be able to be doing that. So doing a lot of stuff. Doing stand up. Just hosted. What's today? Monday. I just hosted on Sunday for Second Chance Comedy. Joe Hughesman was out of town, so
Oh,
I did that
cool.
at the Bug Theater. Um,
Whoa.
Saturday did an improv show.
Let's talk about the
Um,
bug real quick. How many people were
yeah.
there? Did it fill up?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't terribly full. I've done Bug before when it was sold out, and they had to do the folding chairs. This was
Okay.
probably around 50 something
Okay, that's
folks.
probably still fun. I just
Oh,
did
it
the
was a
bug
great
for the first
show.
time
Yeah,
like
AJ Finney
two
headlined.
weekends
It
ago.
was a lot of fun.
Oh, I saw the sign for that when I was
Oh,
there,
okay,
like two
yeah.
weekends
Oh,
ago.
yeah. And
Nice.
then I was doing improv. We opened for a show at Rise Comedy on Saturday. I'm on an improv team called Legit Twins, and we opened for a show called Object Permanence, which was actually real fun show. That show
Nice.
itself, we did the improv at the start, 20-minute show, something like that, 16 to 20. Then other than that, we just did a joke box pretty recently, and then
Why
just
don't you
stand
tell everybody
up.
what Joke Box is?
Yeah, so Jokebox is a really fun show. It's it's a mix of like comedy challenges where we have comedians that are up, and the best way to put it is basically it's just alternating of comedy challenges, trivia, where the audience actually can vote for comedians as they're watching the show from their smartphones. They can play along on trivia too if they want. They can win prizes for having a good score at the end, or they could just win it randomly because we give a lot of spin and giveaway free. Just you showed up, you put your name in, and you get something all through the phone. And basically, it's like comedy challenges, trivia for like about 5 or 7 minutes, and there's stand up for 5 or 7 minutes, like an actual person from the show doing the panel performing. He or she will do a stand up set, then another set of comedy trivia, and another stand up set. So it's kind of like rinse and repeat games, stand up, games, stand up, games, stand up. And at the end of the night, there's a comedian that wins and an audience member that wins.
Fun. That's cool. How long? And you started this, right?
Yes, started this but 1 year ago. One
Cool.
year ago, started this
Congratulations.
actually. Thank you. At just literally like just it was July 28th, I think, something like that, at in Golden at Gnarly's. And
Okay. Yeah.
we got picked up immediately to do a monthly show there. And then within a few months of that, I think it was September or October, we got picked up for a monthly show at Rise Comedy in Denver. And
Okay.
so since that show in July 28th of last year to the next show that we're doing is going to be, I think, our 30th show. So we've
Wow.
had
In a
30
year?
shows
That's
in
cool.
1 year. Yeah, it's been really busy and hectic. And as of our last show, I think we've had either 87 or 89 comedians that have been booked to be on the show.
That's
These are all
awesome.
different comedians, and I think we've had technically like over 100 performances because sometimes we'll book the same comedian more than once. But yeah, lot of activity with Joke Box. It's been
That
crazy.
rules. So let me ask. I would call that a gimmick show.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
what made you like? What are the advantages of a gimmick show, or why did you start a gimmick show instead of a just traditional showcase?
Absolutely, yeah. So for people watching, a gimmick show is a show that basically has a very specific angle. It's something that you're basically trying to, you're stepping away from the pack, and you're basically raising your hand and saying, "Hey, this is going to be a different show." and you have a very specific approach to it so that it's really should be really easy to digest, right, and understand. And so I was actually cooking this idea for almost like, gosh, 2 years, maybe about 2 years, year and a half to 2 years prior to getting picked up in Golden. I wanted to do a comedy show. My daughter, who's she's 25 now at the time, we were talking about how there's so many people that'll go to a comedy show and be using their phones, and like places like Comedy Works will lock that down. But other than that, people start to drift. They get on their phones, and I was telling her, I'd love to be able to do a show that's so compelling that people don't use their phones. And she said, "Good luck." She's
Yeah.
25. She's like, why fight it? Why don't you just make something that incorporates that? Because
Okay.
she and I love playing something called Jackbox games and party packs, and it's something that there's like, I think 13. We own them all. Anyways, it's something that you
That's
play.
a
And it's a
trivia
game.
thing.
Yeah, it's a trivia.
I
It's
played
got
that in like the
drawing.
90s. Is it that old?
Yeah,
Like it was on
it is that
CD-ROM?
old.
I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's how I got introduced to it. My wife and I, before my daughter was even born, we were playing Jackbox games. And so she and I love doing it. And so she was like, yeah, it'd be interesting if there was a way to merge like comedy and trivia, because Jackbox Games has somebody called Cookie Masterson, and he's one of the hosts, and it's a lot of humor built into trivia. So it's the fabric of the whole thing is just trivia, and then there's comedy the way
Is
that the
that
questions are
still an
asked.
active business, or are you playing
Yeah.
like 30-year-old games?
No, no, no. That's still there's been over 13. They're calling them party packs now.
Okay.
You play without controllers anymore. You do it on your phone. And so
Okay.
we basically took the I mean, I'm just gonna openly say, like, we took this idea of geeks who drink trivia
Hmm.
and Jackbox games and stand up comedy, just shoved it all together, and then made a show. And
Okay.
I tell you honestly, I thought it was going to be way more easy for people to understand and to explain when I came up with this idea, but it's not. It's been the hard, even though we've
You mean
had
the
so many
audience or
shows.
the comics have a hard time
Uh,
understanding it, or both?
uh, it, it's both really. It's like if I said to you, "Hey Mark, do you want to do 20 minutes? I've got a show this Saturday." I don't have to say anything more than that. You're
Right.
probably thinking it's just four or five comedians. Hey, am I featuring? Is there any opening for the headlining? Like, you already are so far down that path. And if you put an ad up on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere, and you said, comedy show, and you had four pictures of comedians, I think anybody seeing that's going to go, yeah, I totally understand what's going to happen. But trying for me to explain, like, when it's like it's a comedy show but there's trivia, it's like, imagine if I was giving you a tour of my house. I'm like, hey, would you like to see our kitchen? And we come around the corner and there's like a toilet in the middle of a room, and you're like, well, where's the kitchen? It's like, well, let me explain how this works. It's like totally way more complicated than what I thought it
Do
was
you
going to be.
get audience people to come back?
Yeah, yeah, we got actually a couple that are I mean, we don't have a name for it, but they're fans. We got a couple of people that will go from show to show. And when it first happened, it was kind of weird because I was like, I'm like, you look familiar. I'm thinking, was he a comic? And he's like, no, I was at your other show. You know what I mean? In Golden, that happened in Superior, and yeah, so we'll get people that will be there to multiple shows, and I try to remember if I can, but it's tough. Like
You
when
need a.
you're
Does it have like a catchphrase or a slogan?
no, we need one desperately.
Yeah, it
If
should
you've
be
got
like,
a slogan, I will pay you $4 American if you could come up with a great slogan for us. That'd be great.
like you just say like trivia, comedy, sudden death. Something unexpected in that third spot. And then when you get
Yeah,
there, there's like a sudden death round or
yeah.
trivia,
Right now,
comedy.
we've tried so many. By the way, we've tried
Yeah.
so many. Right now, the latest one we're trying is comedians compete, you win. And
Okay.
it's kind of like this engaging, like, well, wait, okay, I like the idea of comedians competing because that's all about the show. The comedians
Yeah.
compete for the audience's votes and everything, and there's a comedian that wins at the end of the night. But the audience might go, okay, what does that mean? I win what? And
Yeah.
then just, I don't care now. Read, you will win.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great.
yeah,
It prompts a question. It's like my tagline is Colorado's second cleanest comedian.
I know. I love that, by the way.
Prompts a question and people are
Yeah.
curious about it. So yeah.
And they're like, who's the first?
Yeah,
Right. That's, I'm
what
sure.
everybody says when I
Yeah.
say come see me live. Everybody, tour dates, markmasters.co.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, that's really cool. So what have you learned doing this? Like how I have a lot of questions. You can talk about anything you want. I'd like to hear like what was the worst experience? Like maybe you didn't sell any
Yep.
audience tickets
Yep.
once.
Sure.
What's like the biggest?
I can answer. You got a lot of questions. I got a lot of history with this show. So whatever
Okay,
you want to start there. Yeah,
sure.
man. I had a show in Golden was tough. I'm sure you
I've
played
been to
have you
Gnarly's. I've never
Gnarly's?
been there when they were doing comedy. I was just
Yeah.
in Golden and I'd heard of it and I went and peeked in and met the owner and
Well, when we've done shows there, and it was great, and we sold out at the comedy fest that they did, or a Comfort and Comedy Festival. That it was like 80 seats. We sold that. So there's a lot of good stuff. But then during the summer, when the School of Mines is out, and then also the people in town are like doing their summer thing, we had a show where I literally like I walk in and there was like 4 people. And really for our show, a minimum like viable product is like you want to have at least 12 audience members to make it fun for everybody, right? So I
yeah.
walked in and I was like, my heart sank. I'm like, I was kind of like caught off guard. I'm like, this is the worst. And so I literally grabbed some flyers I had in my car and barked the
Yeah.
street.
So let me ask you
And
a question about that. Does that mean that Gnarly's controls the ticketing? So you didn't know ahead of time only 4 tickets had been sold?
yeah, I did. I only knew, and Gnarly's since then has they went under. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Did you know
I
that?
didn't know that. Let's
Oh
let's
yeah,
pause everything and let's hear this story.
yeah. So Gnarly's. I think it was. I was in Gearing. I was in Nebraska doing a joke box show when I saw the news. Stacy, one of the owners, it was her and Gnarly, were saying, "Hey, and Ron Ferguson posted it, and so the Gnarly's closed, and it sucks. It's tough because it's a real hard venue to get sold, all year round, and then also even from during the weekdays. You know what I mean? To be
Yeah.
able to carry that. So yeah. So that happened.
Wait a second. Let's dive into this a little bit. So
Sure.
how long was it like an even number? Was it like 2 years in business, 3 years in business, or was it just like we
It
give up?
was basically I would say 1.5 years in business,
Okay.
because they almost went under at the end of this last year in 2025, and then the board, the commission or whatever, they had come up with some plan and a grant, and that carried them through for another 6 months or so, and then that wrapped it up. It just wasn't able to come out of it.
Huh. And so is it like is anybody in there now or is it just empty?
I don't know. I think it's empty. It's too bad because first of all I love Gnarly's.
Yeah.
I loved everybody there. I love
Just
Stacy.
so there are a lot of people
Brandon.
that let me just explain real quick. Gnarly's is right in downtown Golden, Colorado, which is a very cute Colorado mountain town just outside of Denver, maybe 30 minutes away. Has a big, very smart university. The Colorado School of Mines is in Golden. That's where Coors Beer is from. This was an upstairs venue. You went upstairs. There was like a kind of a lobby area with like maybe some arcade games. And then there was like a theater that looked kind of like a small movie theater. Are you saying what was it? It
Yeah,
was an 80 seater,
yeah. It was 80. I think they could
stadium
do a little
seating,
more if they needed to, but yeah, it's 80 seats that were built into the theater.
and a very big stage, very large stage. And I think there was a TV screen type projection screen.
Yeah, yeah. And we used that for the show. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
So and
drag.
then yeah, so we were. It
Did
was. It
you
was.
have
It was still.
scheduled shows at that location?
Yeah, we were doing like the fourth Thursday of every month, and then we did some Friday and Saturday shows as we were kind of turning the corner. But yeah, so long story short is that the time it happened, we would sell tickets, but we don't have any tracking for like the Facebook campaign to report back to us,
Okay.
like or Meta
I got to
and all
talk to you
that.
about that. I got
And
to
and
get back on that. Let's talk about that
oh,
later.
okay, and when we can do that, we've proven that that's really a key for us.
Okay.
So it's kind of more like we were throwing it over the wall, and then it would be kind of like, hey, Stacy, do we have any tickets sold? And so we did. I didn't know ahead of time on that particular day that there was not that it was this as weak as it was on that one specific time. Yeah. So I went out in the streets and I was just barking. And then by the time the show started, I think we had like 14, but then we ended up with like 25 or 30. You know, it just was like one of those like, yeah. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but like we've been really fortunate that we've at least had the minimum people that we really need for like all of our shows. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm gonna knock on wood. Yeah. But sometimes like I think on that particular night, it was nice because they kind of came in and then a few tribes came in a little bit later. But then there was one time we were doing a show there, and I think it was Matt Kobos was headlining that night, and it was the craziest thing. Like we only started off with like 14 people. But then by the end of the show, I think we had like 35 or 40, and they kept coming in. And our show is not the kind of show to come in halfway through. And I told the audience, I go, so please come in, please play. You're more than welcome. You're basically walking in on the movie Inception halfway through. Like you guys are going to be really confused. It's going to be really weird, but please come on in, you know? So
does the format have a headliner every time? And
no, it does not. Okay. In fact, if we do it at Rise, if we're doing it with a stand-up group, because sometimes we'll do it with an improv team, so that's a different format. But when we do it, it's usually just everybody kind of gets equal time. That's the most common. Okay. But if we do a show, like we've also done out-of-state shows, and we've done community shows, like at Sterling Ranch, and I think we've got one coming up with Leighton Rock and the Meadows. When we do those kind of shows, we'll typically have a headliner. Like David Tessero did the last one that we just did. And before that, we had John Novosad at another one at South Shore, I think is what it was.
Nice. John's so funny. John Novosad.
For me, that was like one of the biggest gets that I've been a fan of his just for such a long time. In fact, I saw him like 2 years ago at the High Plains Comedy Festival, just walking in the street. I'm like, I wanted to take my picture with him. But I felt like kind of weird because it's like, he's going to see me out like at Comedy Works. Because I've talked to him, you know, since and stuff like that. But I just thought, man, I'm a huge fan. And then to have him on the show was such a huge thing for me. I really appreciated it. Yeah.
He rules.
He's awesome.
Okay. So, all right. A club goes out of business. You have a show scheduled. They run the ticketing. Are there customers who paid money for tickets that are now not getting a show?
No, not with Golden, because of what had happened during the summer. I was holding off on doing another show until after the summer, and so I was in a window.
What happened in the summer? Did I miss that?
Well, the School of Mines. There's no kids.
Just because of summer in general. Yeah, comedy stinks in the
summer. Summer's a tough. I mean, summer in general doesn't matter, so it's especially hard.
I sold out a show, 98 tickets up in Gypsum, Colorado. I love you, Gypsum, Colorado, on Thursday of last week, and usually summer is miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's why it was.
So you didn't have anything scheduled, so you dodged a bullet. That was great for you.
It was a really weird coincidence because like I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying like we've done a show there like every month, except I think there was one other month where we didn't for some specific reason. But we done it every month, and then this one time I didn't have the show. We didn't have to worry about the scenario you're talking about because it was.
So when you take this show on the road, like to Nebraska, are you getting Nebraska comics? Or are you bringing a clown car full of comics?
We did like when we like South Dakota. We got South Dakota comics, and it was just me and Matt Greenwald that went up and did it from our side. When we did Nebraska, we did Gering, and it is so far. I was like telling Matt, I'm like, hey, let's get somebody from like Lincoln or Omaha. And he's like, that's farther from that for them, I think it is, than us. And I was
what town were you in?
It was Gering, Nebraska.
Not Gary, Indiana.
No, Gering, like Gering. Yeah, it's not Gary, Indiana. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, but I'm so, I could tell you stories about me on the road and not understanding geography. Like, but so we ended up bringing a group of people. We had let's see, Von Sprecken, Jeff Cohen, Mercy came, Matt, myself. God, I feel like I'm leaving somebody out, and so I feel like an asshole. But sorry, pardon me. I can't remember, but yeah. So Gehring, we brought the clown car. So
Okay.
that one was good, and we just had everybody stay in hotels and all that stuff.
Huh.
But yeah, I'm horrible with geography. Like we were in South Dakota, and I don't know if you know about South Dakota, but I was walking around the town. I'm like, this is a pretty nice town. Boy, they like their presidents here because they had
Oh, you're in
like
Rapid
these
City.
brass, yeah, Rapid City, and they
Mount
had these
Rushmore.
brass statues. And then Matt, I told Matt, I go, you know, you guys have a lot of like, you know, president stuff, and he's like,
Is he
yeah, we
from
got them in
Rapid
all,
City?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, fun.
And he's like, yeah, we got them in all forms. We got them in brass, we got them in wax, we got them in stone, and none of that's. I'm like, vroom. I'm like, none of
Yeah.
that's making sense. And then he's looking at me. He goes, you know, Mount Rushmore is here, right? I was like, no, I did not. It was only like 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So then we ended up going to Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
He's
very
like, you
cool.
should really see it. And it was
What
awesome.
did you
It
do
was
that
amazing.
at the comedy club there, or did you do it at a bar?
We did it at a place called the Catalyst Theater.
Sounds fancy. Is that
Oh,
big?
it was nice. It was like gnarly size, I think, somewhere around there.
Okay.
It was a nice venue. It was similar too. What I loved about Gnarly's, it's another great thing about Gnarly's, was it's like a theater seating where when you walk in there, you're like, they could film a game show here. And our
Yeah.
show is a lot like a game show. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So that was a real good fit as well. We had two shows there, and we had the Humane Society was involved, and they brought kittens. And all four cats got adopted. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cute. I just did a cat cafe show in Brooklyn, and I recently that was like maybe a month ago. 3 weeks ago, I contacted the two cat cafes in Denver to try and run a comedy show. It's so fun.
Well,
Like cats are roaming around during
I
the
loved
set.
it too.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
School. And I
Yeah.
didn't hear back from one of them. The other one got back to me and said, we're not big enough to have a comedy show. And I wrote him back. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, here are pictures from this very successful show in New York
Yeah.
City that has barely any audience. And here's some pictures also of a Denver show I've run before that can only fit like 10 or a dozen people. This is possible. Please
Yeah.
get back to me. And I haven't heard anything. So
Oh
I don't
yeah,
think it's
no,
going
it's
anywhere.
awesome. We've done a couple shows like that. I love it because it's also nice because now you can lay your gimmick on top of charity.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so you
Yeah,
got the 1-2 punch.
yeah.
But
Okay, I got a
it's just
slogan for you. Are you
okay.
ready?
Yeah,
Stand-up comedy meets sit-down game show.
stand up comedy meets sit down. I like this. I like this.
Play with
I'm
it. Think
gonna
about it. It's for
okay.
free. You can have it
I'm
for
gonna
free.
I'm gonna pay you $2 in advance.
If
And then
it
if I
works.
use it, I'll give you the other two, and then you'll have 4.
You can have it for free. Okay, let's talk about, I guess, successes. What's like a big, I don't know, you already talked about booking Novasad. That's huge. Doing
That
30
was
shows in a
huge.
year is
Yeah.
huge.
87 or 89
You ever make any money
comedians.
doing this?
We do make money on some shows. It's surprising that we actually do okay. I actually had to call it at the end of last year because, like I said, we started in July. I've never produced a show before. So I was a couple grand in the hole by the end of the year. I'm like, seriously, I'm like, when I had 2 venues, I was losing money twice as fast. It was great. I'm like, I'm paying way too much. And then I really refocused, and then I started focusing around the talent and making sure that the headliners are paid what headliners are needing to be paid, and then everybody downstream is paid. And then, investing in the advertising at a level where it pays back. Like I got that all in line. And so this year, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. We've been doing well. We're like net neutral or net positive for the year. So like we've got a viable way to keep moving forward and grow where everybody is everybody's making money. The comics, I will tell you this without a shadow of a doubt and without any kind of like, there's no doubt the comics have made more money off of the show.
Of course.
Just in mass, like all of them, not like one individual, but like all of the money has been going to paying
Your
the talent.
biggest expense is talent.
Yeah, that and the venues if we pay for venues.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's a door deal though,
Okay.
or revenue split.
Yeah.
I think we've only done 2 venues when we paid for the venue.
Good. Keep that up. Let's teach these venues that they should be
Yeah,
paying us to bring
yeah.
in customers. Uh, I had 2 quick questions for you, and I've lost track of both of them somehow. Darn it. One was, what if you teach us quickly 2 minutes about advertising to get butts in seats? What have you learned? What are some best practices?
Absolutely. What I'll credit. First of all, we don't have a ton of time, so I will say, Andrea
Yeah, Ball.
Andrea Ball. Yeah, she does a thing that you can attend. It's a workshop for a day, and it's invaluable. Like it's absolutely something that I completely would say it's 100% worth it. So let me start with that.
Okay.
And let me tell you, based off of my personal experience.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, sure.
There is an Always Booking Comedy episode with Andrea Ball. Check it out, and we talk about Facebook marketing. She gives away some of this stuff for free. Everybody,
Yeah,
find that in the
absolutely.
back catalog. All right.
And so I would say that my experience, taking everything that I learned from that, plus all my experience of doing this on my own, the best thing I could say is that if you really want to sell tickets and actually really do a good job, I'll just say it like that. That's a bold statement, but is that you would need the tracking pixel installed so you can know when people are actually purchasing your tickets. You control the system enough, even if you don't own the system, you have enough access to the system that you're seeing what's happening in terms of your bookings. And then I would say that if you're in a highly densely populated area, like I'm doing in the city of Denver, I'll do like maybe up to between like 1 and 4 miles out of that venue and put all my efforts there and only go for the female audience because it's the women who buy the tickets. Even if you've got guys going to the show, it's the women who will buy the tickets. It's really about saving advertising dollars.
Okay.
If you want to do it, that's the most effective way. And then if you're like out in Gehring, 45 miles.
Yeah.
because yeah.
The pixels, do you retarget? Do you do
basically, and you got to shut everything off on Meta. Will try and say, let us do this and let us do AI and you're losing this and are you sure this is horrible? And I'll tell you all this stuff and you're like, no, it's like, imagine like if you're like, I don't want a motorcycle, I want a pedal bike. Like I want to control all of the moving parts and it needs to be as small and as efficient as possible. And that's the way to do it, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of dumb at this stuff.
Yeah.
You run a campaign with the pixel and that gives you all the people who clicked it. And Facebook has a list of them. There's like 100 of them, 500, I don't know, 50. And then you start a new campaign and the audience is those pixel people. And
so that's what I do. Right. Okay. So if I know that I got a venue like Rise Comedy, I will set up, I have a campaign set up and it's the Rise campaign. And so I will set it up to go to Rise and then based off of, I can't go to the pixel yet on Rise. I'm working with them on that. Okay. But what I'll do is I'll say like everybody, I have it go to the page and then it's optimizing it based on people who are taking action from the ad to go to this page. Okay. And so in that regard, it's learning who they're doing this, and then it's finding people that are like that and remarketing to those folks.
You're doing a lookalike thing.
Okay. Yeah, but then when I do it next month, I just basically shut that ad off and put up a new ad under the same campaign. So basically, it looks like it's all coming along the same campaign, and so there's all this learning information. So now that's like in my experience right now. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is you have the pixel that actually tracks through to the consummated sale, which is the ones that we own. Like if we go through, I think it's like we've got like Humantix, we've got Multipass, we've got different event ways that we're booking tickets, through ourselves or through the venue that give us access. And when you can get that ticket information, it takes all of that we already talked about and applies it to the ticket purchase level. So it's even better. So that's the golden.
Is what you're saying that on the subsequent event, you advertise to the people that did buy tickets last time?
Well, if we own it, like say Multipass.
If you have the data.
If you have that list, you can do it. But Meta is going to start with Instagram and Threads and Facebook. It'll start with all the people that it already knows the profile of and be able to fast forward to that when it's doing the advertising to them. It already has an idea of what they're looking like because it all, if you set it up correctly, it all looks like it's just a continuous campaign because you're just changing out the creative. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, kind of. I'm gonna have to ask you offline because we're
Sure.
running
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
time. My other question was, have you found a new venue in Golden? Do you want to get back into Golden? Like, what's your strategy, business plan there?
I know. I man, I don't. I'm such a positive person. I don't want to go back to Golden like that. If I were to go back to Golden, I just don't know. I just can't see it right now because when we were trying to do this show and produce it and advertise it, I'd talk to people. I'd be like, yeah, you should come over to Gnarly's. We got this show. And they're like, oh, that's great. Yeah, I'll definitely come. Where's it at? And I'll be like, oh, it's in Golden. And they would act like I said it was Grand Junction. They would be like, well, I'm not going to drive all the way out to Golden. I'm like, it's on the. I tried to market it as West Denver for a
Yeah.
while. I didn't want people to even see the word Golden.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. I don't see how to do that. Plus, we're also like from a momentum standpoint, our pacing with Jokebox has gotten out of control. We just got another venue that we're doing right now. It's at the Midnight Toad. Matt Greenwald is helping me run that one because I told him I said I can't take on another venue, and he and I have been working on these together now.
Where is that located?
It's like west side of Denver, kind of like I'd say near Littleton area. And so with Jokebox, I honestly, and I mean, whatever. I hope I'm not jinxing myself. We have kind of too much. We're doing too many shows. I would much rather build up the quality and do less shows. I would like to like cap it max at like 2 shows a month, regardless of where they're at. That'd be more ideal for me.
Do you know about Western Sky?
Western Sky, yeah, that's sad. Yeah, Harrison Garcia, they're going.
It's going under.
Yeah, well, I would not say that. His post that he had shared was this is a decision that they made that they're basically stepping off and they're going to do something else. And they're not going under because it was a bad business decision or that they're running out of money. And and I'm absolutely going to be trying to get there before the last, I think it's the end of September. I love Harrison. I love Western Sky. I cut my teeth on so many open mics there in the early days. Just phenomenal. Couldn't say anything more about him or Gnarly's and Stacy and Gnarly.
So what is somebody else going to step in and take it over, or is it just going to close the doors?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That's rough, man. Huh?
Yeah. Anyways, why'd you ask about Western Sky?
Because I thought that could be a good venue for you. It's small. You could sell enough tickets to make some money, and Harrison might like you. Or I'm sure he does like you. We get a question from online from North Carolina. I think this is addressed to you, Jay. Could you briefly talk about your opinion on door deal versus other options? So when you're dealing with venues,
other options, the best option for us is a guarantee. Like we'll have a venue that will say like, hey, you can do, we'll pay you. Oh man, I don't know. I don't feel like, well, I'll just say,
you don't have to say it. Just say they'll pay you a guarantee. You can tell me.
Yeah. They'll pay us a guarantee and they pay significantly more than what we would make if we were to do it on our own. Right.
Sure.
Like it's
more than the ticket sale revenue is what you mean.
What's that?
More than the ticket sale revenue.
Yes. Yeah. Or more than a door split. Okay. So briefly talking about it, definitely would prefer a guarantee that allows tips. So like we've done, I'll say that there's some shows we'll do like $300, $400 in tips.
Oh, you mean, tips. So then it's free for the customers, but then
it's free for the customers. Yeah. They're paying for the customers to have this good time. And then the customers that it's all on their side. And on those type of deals, we might see as few as 40, 45, but we could have like 125. And so that's to us a guaranteed show that's entertaining a group of people for a reason, whether it's a corporate gig, a community gig or whatever. That's the best. Love it, especially if they do guarantee plus tips. So they give you a base. And then it doesn't matter anything downstream. It's all just whatever we collect in the baskets, basically, through Venmo. And then the second best is door deals. I would say that most commonly, and I've heard comics say that when they're producing, they get stuff where they get like 80 and the venue will get 20. I haven't seen that, to be honest. I'll usually see like 50-50 is something that we'll see. We could do tips. So I prefer that. And then I would ask the venue like, hey, look, there's a line item. We can either work it out that we're doing the advertising and marketing and then that's going to be kind of at a cost to you, or if you want to do it, then that's on you. But I would prefer to own it and be able to get it covered for what we're doing, because that way I can guarantee it's going to be a better show. We'll get more people in the seats. So that would be like, so door deal, minimum 50-50 with them contributing, either splitting the advertising or covering advertising. That would be the best. Second best to that is the 50-50 door deal. And then we have to figure out how to paper up or flyer or get word of mouth and get people to the show. And then I think the hardest one, but we've done it because sometimes it makes sense. It depends on the situation, is that you could rent a room for $300 or $600 depending on the location. And if you can get 200 to 300 people in that room and you know that you're going to sell it at like $20 a ticket, it's just a no-brainer. Like, you're going to be like, yeah, absolutely. I'll take the hit. It's a guarantee now for the venue, but now all the risk is on my side. But then, what do you want to spend to do it? If you don't do it right, then you're going to lose your ass. But if you do it and you actually invest in it, you make it happen. That's the way to go.
Yeah. I always say show producing is kind of like sports gambling.
Yeah,
you put all this money in, there's a lot of stress, and you don't know until the event happens if you win or not. The outcome isn't determined until the end.
And it's just as addictive. That's all it takes, is one stupid win. You just get one win and you're like, next time I'm going to make $1 million.
Right.
Red Rocks, here we come.
We're going to start winding this down. Let's talk about you for a second. You're a stand-up comedian. How long you been doing it? What's a goal for the next year? What's something you're excited about?
Okay, great. Yeah, absolutely. Been doing it pre-COVID. So I lost about 1.5 years with COVID. My comedy engine, that was a real weird one too, because it's like you've been doing this for forever, right? Basically, or how long have you been doing it?
Not as long as you would think.
Okay, well, the short of it is, keeping it on here, is that pre-COVID versus post-COVID are two different worlds in general. Because also, like, now it's
COVID.
What's that?
I did start before COVID.
Yeah, and so now I think that So that's how long I've been doing it, that long. And then you were saying excited about.
Yeah.
And what about? For me, my big thing is honestly, it's like kind of like focus. I do stand up. That's my core. And then on top of that, I started layering in doing improv. I've been doing improv, I think about 3 years I've been doing improv. And I love it. I'm on a house team at Rise. Love my team. But then I've also got, Jokebox, which is a gimmick show and it's like a game show. So that is nice. It's kind of like both stand up and sketch and improv. So there's a really weird mix there. For about 1 year, I was doing something called the Denverites, which was a sketch comedy thing we were doing on videos online. And so all of these 4 things, in fact, they're on my whiteboard. All of these 4 things I'm still doing. Stand-up shows. I'm still doing improv shows. We've got a ton of Jokebox shows. The only thing that has been like kind of offline for about 1.5 years has been the Denverites, because I don't have time. So I would honestly, like, what would I love to do is I'd love to scale down and commit and say, I'm only going to do so many shows a month in these different disciplines, like only so many shows in stand-up, so many shows on improv, so many joke boxes, and have time for the Denverites, and that would be my month. And then I actually committed in June. I had one obligatory booking. I had completely cleared everything else out. I didn't do anything except for one show, I think maybe 2 in June. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stick to this plan. And then in August I had 11 shows. So I completely, by the time it's just kind of like all I did was move it down. Like, it all just got pushed, like, hey, I know you said you weren't doing anything in June. Can you do it now? And it's like, okay.
So what's a goal for 20? We're halfway through 2026. In 2027, what do you want to do stand-up wise?
Stand-up wise in 2027. Honestly, I've been trying to really focus on writing, and I know that you're probably like, oh, I want to, win new faces or something specific, or be in,
what do you want?
I just want to be able to write, if not every day, for at least 30 to 45 minutes. I want to be able to feel that I've progressed my sets and continued to bulletproof the 5, the 7, the 10, the 15, the 20, and have it in a place where I feel like it's going to crush no matter where it is. And nobody's going to do that. Like, that. Like, I mean, you got professional comedians that will kill everywhere, but for some reason, one night it's just not working. But I would like to feel good. I'd like to feel proud about that from a stand-up set. stand-up standpoint, I would like to be able to feel proud of where my work is at and what I'm doing when I'm performing. Honestly, I don't feel like that right now.
Okay.
I feel like
More
I
of
have
a
not done enough with the keeping up with new material because I've been bleeding off and doing these other things in other areas. And then a goal for improv is actually just getting better too in terms of character connection and partners, doing scenes where we're really creating an interesting relationship that the audience gives a crap about, you know. And then with Jokebox, I would honestly, to tell you, if I had a very specific goal, I would love to have Jokebox once a month.
Okay.
Just only do that
I mean,
once a month.
get the O Theater. What is that, like 1,000 people or something? 800
Yeah, I
people?
mean, I'd love
Do
to be
that
able to
once
do
a
that,
month,
but
sell 500 tickets.
yeah, yeah. You know that. You know what? That's a very specific one for that, and that is something that I would say. Yeah, that would be a
Or
really
even the Bug. The Bug's 165.
yep,
Sell 150 tickets once a month. That would be incredible.
yep, 100%.
Yeah. All right, we got to wind this down.
Sure.
Where can people find you, and where can people find Jokebox?
Let's see. I'm doing Rise Comedy. I'm doing stand up at Rise on 9/5. Is that this Saturday?
I mean more generically, because people might watch this like a year from now.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Like your
So if you were to catch
Instagram,
me, I do a
website.
lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff at Rise. You know, in terms of both stand up and improv. So I'm on a house team called Legit Twins. We've been performing together, I think, almost 2 years. So you can always catch us there. I love doing comedy works if I can. New talent nights, you know, obviously something that everybody in the Denver area loves to do because it's a great venue. And then Jokebox, we're doing a lot of community shows, so look for us. If you have a community, reach out to me. Like Layton Rock, South Shore, Sterling Ranch, the Meadows. There's anybody that has a big community where you've got a community center and then they put on shows. And you want to see Jokebox, we'll come to you. Just tell us, like, talk to whoever you have over there and say, hey, Nancy, you're the one who always gets this stuff going. Have you heard of Jokebox? And here's the guy's info. And we'd love to do that. And then I'm looking to see about anything else. I mean, just look for, you can Google Go Jokebox and chat a GPT and AI and Gemini. They'll tell you, like, oh, here's the show and here's where it's at. So you can always check it out.
Nice. Instagram handle?
JD Comedy, JAYD, and then the word comedy. And
Nice.
same thing with Facebook, JD Comedy. And then my website is jaydonaldson.com, my full name.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, everybody. We'll
Yeah.
see you next week. Stick around.